Part 1, The Vanishing Safe. It was nearly midnight in the city of Corwin, and the streets were quiet except for the low hum of a passing tram. On the top floor of a dark office building, a single light glowed. Inside, a man in a black hoodie and gloves was hunched over a massive steel safe. His name was Rafe Maddox, and he was the most elusive thief in the city. No alarms had gone off. No cameras had caught him. Rafe worked silently, with a calm that unnerved even his closest allies. Downstairs, his partner Juno Vale watched the lobby through the security system she had hacked earlier. "You've got 7 minutes, she said through the earpiece. Rafe smirked. "I'll be done in 4. This was no ordinary heist. The safe didn't belong to a bank or a businessman, it belonged to Detective Irene Mallory, who had stored confidential evidence from over a dozen unsolved crimes inside. If Rafe could get his hands on that evidence, he and Juno could rewrite the rules of the city's underworld. With a final twist, the safe clicked open. Inside wasn't money or diamonds, it was a single metal case labeled "Do Not Open," classified, along with a black envelope addressed to Rafe. He froze. How could she know? He opened the envelope. Inside was a note, handwritten, "Welcome back, Rafe. I knew you'd come for this. The game is on again. Let's see if you're still the best." Irene. Before he could process the message, Juno's voice shouted in his ear, "Rafe. We've got trouble. Someone just disabled my feed, and it wasn't me." Part 2, The Trap. Rafe slammed the safe shut and stuffed the metal case into his backpack. Every instinct screamed that this wasn't just a heist anymore, it was a setup. "Juno," he whispered, "get the car ready. We're leaving. Now." "Already on it," she replied, but there was tension in her voice. "Something's wrong. Someone cut power to half the block. I can't see any external cameras. It's like we're blind." Rafe bolted out of the office and sprinted down the stairwell, taking the steps 2 at a time. As he reached the 3rd floor, a red laser dot appeared on the wall, then another, and another. Snipers. He ducked behind a pillar, his mind racing. Who the hell had access to this kind of force? Below, Juno was in the getaway car, her fingers flying across a tablet. "They're jamming our signal. Rafe, we're being hunted." Suddenly, the building's fire alarm blared. Smoke poured into the stairwell. "Not from a fire, it was gas. They want me alive," Rafe muttered. "Not dead. That means they're going to try to trap me, not shoot." He pulled a small mask from his coat and sprinted through the stairwell, bursting through the 2nd floor exit. The hallway was lined with smoke, but his path was clear, until he turned the corner. Standing there, gun in hand, was Detective Irene Mallory, older now, with gray in her hair and steel in her eyes. But still the same hunter. "Drop the bag, Rafe," she said calmly. "You've already played your move. Now it's mine." "Irene," he said, smirking behind his mask, "if I had $1 for every time you tried to catch me." She didn't smile. "That case doesn't belong to you," she said. "I know. That's why I'm stealing it." Then he threw a flashbang. By the time Irene's vision cleared, Rafe was gone. Part 3, The Secret Inside. They regrouped in an underground garage 2 miles from the scene. Juno drove like a demon through the night, switching cars twice and ditching her hacked surveillance gear in a sewer drain. Now, in the flickering light of a dusty lamp, Rafe laid the metal case on the table between them. "You gonna open it?" Juno asked, her voice hushed. Rafe nodded slowly. "Not until we're sure it's clean." He scanned the edges for triggers, motion sensors, chemical markers, pressure locks. Nothing. Whatever Irene had hidden inside, she wanted him to open it. With a soft click, the latches released. Inside were documents, old, yellowed, stamped with red ink, "Top secret." And photographs, dozens of them, surveillance pictures of Rafe, but not recent ones, childhood photos. Him in a foster home. Him in juvenile detention. Him with someone Juno had never seen before, a man with a cobra tattoo on his neck. "What the hell is this?" she whispered. Rafe didn't answer. His hands trembled slightly. That man, he finally said, was the reason I became a thief. Juno looked at him, shocked. I thought you never knew your parents. I didn't. But he did. He was my mentor. And my betrayer. There was a note inside the case, just like before. Irene's handwriting again, the Cobra lives. And he's planning something bigger than you can imagine. I tried to stop him once. I failed. Now it's your turn. Rafe's jaw clenched. He was supposed to be dead. Juno narrowed her eyes. What does this mean, Rafe? It means this wasn't just about a heist. Irene used me to open a door she couldn't. And now I've let a monster loose again. He looked up, dark determination in his eyes. I need to find him. Part 4, The Cobra's Mark. The next lead was buried deep, in a file so old, even digital traces had faded. But Rafe remembered a name, Victor Rain, a former intelligence officer turned arms dealer. And the man with the Cobra tattoo. Juno hacked into an old military database through a ghost terminal in the back of a laundromat. What she found chilled them both. Rain's alive, she said. And he's been hiding under a different name, Dominic Celevra. He's running black market deals in Eastern Europe, weapons, surveillance tech, biodata. Big money. Deep ties. And Irene knew, Rafe muttered. That's why she left the case for me. She knew I'd chase him when no one else would. Juno frowned. Or she knew you'd make a better pawn than a soldier. But Rafe didn't care anymore. This was personal. They flew to Prague the next night under forged identities. The city was a shadowy maze of old bricks and newer lies, and it didn't take long before someone spotted them. They were being watched. Rafe noticed the tail, a tall woman in a tan coat, always one step behind. Juno set a trap in a marketplace alley and yanked the woman into the shadows. Who are you working for? Juno hissed. I'm with Mallory, the woman coughed. I was sent to make sure Rafe stayed alive. What? Rafe stepped in. You mean Irene's still? Yes, she said. But not for long. The woman handed him a burner phone. A message was waiting. You're getting close, Rafe. But be careful, Rain isn't working alone anymore. He has people in the agency. People who want to finish what we both started. Then the phone exploded, just a spark, enough to destroy the message. But it was clear, Irene was in deeper than they thought. And Rain wasn't just some ghost from Rafe's past, he was building something, and Rafe was running out of time.
Part 5, The Final Move. They tracked Rain, now going by Dominic Celevra, to an abandoned airbase outside Bucharest. The place was quiet, too quiet. A runway overgrown with weeds. Hangars rusted shut. But deep underground, lights still flickered. A drone scan confirmed it. Heat signatures, armed guards, and a massive data core pulsing at the center. What is this place? Juno whispered. Rafe scanned the blueprints. Not just a hideout. This is a command hub. Rain's building a private intelligence network, something powerful enough to control cities, elections, governments. And it was almost complete. They had one shot. Juno slipped inside through a vent shaft, disabling cameras as she went. Rafe followed through the back entrance, using a stolen keycard. The halls smelled like oil and secrets. As they approached the core, alarms blared. Too late, they burst into the main room, and there he was, Victor Rain. Older. Sharper. The same cobra tattoo slithering down his neck. Rafe, he said, smiling coldly. Like father, like son. Rafe froze. What? You never knew, did you? Rain laughed. You thought I mentored you out of pity? I trained you because you were mine. Born to steal. Born to deceive. You're lying. Ask Irene. She knew the truth. That's why she never told you. Juno gasped. Rafe, But there was no time. Rain pulled a gun, and Juno pulled hers faster. One shot. Then silence. Rain collapsed, a smirk frozen on his face. Sirens screamed. The data core began overheating. They planted explosives and ran. The airbase lit up behind them, flames rising like justice at dawn. A week later, back in Corwin, Rafe stood by a river, staring at the city lights. Irene was gone. Missing. Presumed dead, but the game had changed. Juno walked up beside him. So, is it over? Rafe didn't answer. He just tossed the last envelope into the river. It burned as it sank. Some shadows never die. But some thieves learn to step out of them.